You are now listening to WSN Wolf Sports Network, live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, now an Odyssey station.
Live from Carrollton, Georgia, this is Sports Pack.
West Georgia's go-to show for all things sports.
From the best interviews in college radio.
Hey, this is Coach Joel Taylor, head football coach here at the University of West Georgia.
Hey everybody, this is Jeff Bacon, Atlantic Sun Conference Commissioner.
To the hottest takes around.
I wholeheartedly believe that behind Sean Payton and a second-year Bo Nix, the Denver Broncos can dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs and be the AFC West champions.
I mean, plain and simple, the worst decision Kalen DeBoer has ever made is taking the head coaching position at Alabama.
We've got all you need and more right here on Sports Pack.
The Wolves play here.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another Thursday edition of Sports Pack. I'm your host, Richard Reed, joined today by John Howley, killing it on the board as always. Keyshawn Ward holding it down for us, and my guy, Jackson Schrader, rounding out our core four for this Thursday's episode of Sports Pack. As always, we got a whole lot of stuff to get into. MLB playoffs kicking off. We have MLB playoffs continuing to push forward. The NBA season getting ready to kick off next week. The NHL is getting started strong. College football is loaded as per usual with a huge weekend this upcoming week. This upcoming
Scrappy
Saturday.
weekend, Richard.
Some might say a scrappy weekend. And, of course, it's always news in the NFL as well. But before we get going, there's a couple things we got to do first. First, I need to remind you that every Wednesday is Fried Chicken Wednesday at West Commons Dining Hall.
Yum.
Faculty and staff can now get their own meal plans by visiting westga.edu/DineWest. You can follow Dine West on social media for more updates at UWG_Dine_West on Instagram. Binge drinking is consuming 5 or more drinks on occasion for males and 4 or more for females. However, some college students drink at least twice that amount. That is why Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign reminds all of our Wolves to stay safe when drinking, to never drink under the age of 21, and to always have a designated driver. And it doesn't hurt to throw in some good food while you're at it. Might as well stop by West Commons Dining Hall before you start drinking. I would say after, but we don't want you intoxicated in our dining halls. So before you start drinking, swing by the Z6 real quick, put some good fried chicken on your stomach, then go out there and hit the city. Now, John, how about them Wolves?
Long is Widener, rolls to the right. He's got some time. Everybody's down at the end zone. He heaves it, and it is caught for a touchdown.
We are one. Go Wolves.
Guys, this weekend's game marks the end of a very rough 3-game stretch for our West Georgia Wolves. We started off this season 5-0, but in these last 3 games, we have played a top 25 opponent every single trip. Number 21 ranked team in the country, Austin Peay. Number 19, Abilene Christian, losing both of those games. And now we are rounding out this very tough 3-game stretch with the 3rd-ranked Tarleton State Texans on the road in Stevensville, Texas.
It's going to be a tough one.
That's a scary place.
Let me tell y'all, though, I'm confident going into this game.
Me too.
I'm very confident. Before we get into how we feel, John, we got a little bit of play us what Coach Taylor had to say about this game.
Yeah, I just think you got to execute your game plan, whatever that is. They do a really good job of, forcing the safeties in the box and then pulling it and throwing it. I think they got a lot of, weapons on the outside. So you can't just guard them one-on-one and load the box up, So you got to dang on pick your moments, where you're going to be, 9-man spacing versus 8-man spacing. Like I said, you just got to do a good job of executing the game plan. And then players got to make plays when it's time to make plays at the end of the day. And they got some good players, and I think we got some good players. So you just got to do a good job of slowing them down. Stopping them ain't going to happen. You got to slow them down, and our offense got to do a good job of scoring some points.
Now, some might say our head coach saying stopping them isn't an option. It's a little concerning.
Yeah.
But when you look at what Tarleton's been able to do over the course of the season, they have been incredible. The lowest amount of points they've scored in a game was 30, and that was in a win against the FBS Army team, an Army team that was on the verge of making the college football playoff last year.
At West Point.
On the road at West Point, winning 30-27. This is a very, very talented Tarleton State team led by quarterback Victor Gabalis. They run a very tricky RPO scheme that makes the defense play very patient and be very disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
So, Schrader,
Yeah.
what do our Wolves need to do to come out of this with a win?
Really, what I think we need to do is I have enough confidence in our defense. I think our defense is a defense that can stop this offense, or maybe not stop them, but at least limit them. But I think the big key is going to be the offensive side of the ball for us. And that really hinges on who's starting at quarterback. If Fitz is our quarterback, or if we get Davin back. I think if we get Davin back, we're going to have a much better chance to win this game. Just because our offense, man, I don't know what the heck happened. Like,
Sputtered.
Davin has played all right all season, but our offense has been able to use that and still be very effective. But you took him out and had another quarterback play all right, and the offense just played terrible. I mean,
it
we
seems like
didn't
there's
run
just
the
more
ball.
confidence in Davin for some reason.
Exactly.
Maybe he's just a leader. He's one of those
Right.
guys in the locker room that can kind of motivate the guys. Because, like you said, him and Fitz played kind of similar.
Exactly, but what I want to segue to is the run game.
Right.
Tarleton State's Achilles heel all season long has been stopping the run.
Yep.
And I feel like I say this every single week, but the key to the Wolves going into Stephenville and walking out of there alive with a W is to establish the run game quick, early, and effectively.
I understand. Like you say, he had to establish that run game for them to be able to get the win. Like you say, they're not going to be able to stop their offense, but at least limit them, right? Their offense is scoring over 40 points a game all season. The run game has been dominant, starting running back averaging almost 8 yards to carry. So, I mean, that defense have to be stout on Saturday.
Yeah.
They plan on playing the win out.
It'll say for a offense that averages 466 yards, it's going to be a hard one to stop. Also,
That's a lot of yards,
yeah,
bro.
466 yards per game.
So, for what I know
Scary
about Davin from my source is that he's been in practice this week with a red jersey on, throwing. So that means you can't touch him or anything, even though you're not supposed to touch quarterback in practice. But he's basically you have a huge 3-foot barrier around him. He's been throwing, but from what I last heard, I don't think
Not
Davin's the
confident.
go this weekend. Yeah, it's a tough one.
If Davin's not going this weekend, my confidence does dip because, like Schrader's saying, even though him and Fitzy seem to be playing very similar on the field, something about Davin kind of inspires our guys. But assuming that he does get on the field, like y'all were saying, I think we do have the advantage of our run game. A few weeks ago, Tarleton State played Southern Utah, same Southern Utah team we beat in a classic game a few weeks ago.
What a game.
Southern Utah is currently 1-5 and 0-2 in UAC conference play, but their running backs went off. One of their running backs, Joshua Dye, had 19 carries for 189 yards and 4 touchdowns against Tarleton. And their other back, Will Burns, had 13 carries for 101 yards and 1 touchdown to go along with it. With 7.8 yards per carry, they ran for 8.3 yards per carry as a team. One thing we've got is 2 good backs. TJ Lester and Latrell Morrell are one of the best running back duos in all of FCS football. So if we can find a way to slow down that Tarleton pass rush and get our guys going, something that we could not do at all last week against Abilene Christian.
But we didn't try.
We didn't.
We
really
did
didn't
not
commit
try
to
to run the ball
You're
last
right.
week, which killed us. I mean, we could have, I don't want to say easily won the game against Abilene Christian, but
We would have had a
could
better
have-
chance.
There were opportunities for sure.
We could have won that game if we just ran the ball more than 15, 16 times.
It's going to be a very tough game. We need our guys to really stay disciplined, especially defensively, because it's hard to really explain. If you haven't seen Tarleton play, it's hard for me to sit here and map it out without actually playing footage. Well, they play a very slow RPO offense. Like the quarterback and the running back are both going to be touching the ball for about 2, 3, maybe 4 seconds before he either pulls it or gives it to the running back. It really makes the defense to stay gap sound. Like you have to play gap sound and patient.
That offense, if you watched Wake Forest
I was
play
just
when they
thinking
had
that.
Sam
Yep.
Hartman,
I was just about
it's
to say
that
that.
same. They call it slow mesh.
Yep.
So
It's the
like the
exact same
quarterback sits there basically like holding the ball with the running back, and then depending on the look the defense gives them, they either throw it or they run it every single time, and it is a defensive coordinator's worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to defend it. The one way I've seen it be defended very well, though, is if you have a dominant pass rush. Because if your guys can get through there and win on the line of scrimmage fast, it disrupts the run of the pass.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is West Georgia's defensive line, especially last week against Abilene, did not show any ability to effectively disrupt the passer. Effectively or consistently, especially in that first half against Abilene, that quarterback had all day in the pocket.
Oh, we could have taken a nap back there.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
if that's the team that shows up, we're in for a long day against Tarleton State. But like I said, I'm taking the Wolves. I'm rooting for my guys.
Amen.
I'm not putting a score on it, but the Wolves are going to win nonetheless. We're going to go into next week's homecoming game strong and confident, ready to take down Central Arkansas. Now, we also got some action right here. Actually, not right here, but we have some action coming up very soon as our women's soccer team is on the road in Fort Myers, Florida, taking on Florida Gulf Coast University. Today at 7, right when Sports Pack wraps. So when you finish listening to us, go to ESPN Plus and check out our women's soccer team on the road at FGCU. Our women's volleyball team has a pink out game this upcoming weekend right here in the City of Dreams, Carrollton, Georgia.
They still play
so if
here?
you are in
It seems like they never play here.
Dude, they are on the road time and
All
time
the time.
again. I think this ends a 4-game road stretch for them. They're doing a pink out this Friday, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. right here in the City of Dreams, Carrollton, Georgia, in the Coliseum. So if you're in the area, make sure to stop by and check out our girls. And like you said, Trey, they're going on the road again. They'll have another home game Sunday, October 19th against Central Arkansas. And they have 2 road games on October 22nd and October 26th against Queens University and Lipscomb University. So check out our girls while they're here this weekend. They'll be back October 31st for a very spooky showdown against Stetson University. And word on the street is a very familiar face might be back there doing PA announcing for that game. We'll get more information on that very, very soon. Now, we're going to take a quick ad break. But before we go, I must remind you that Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We're collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. So give today by visiting thewolfUWG.com/book drive. That is thewolfUWG.com/book drive. Now, like I said, stay tuned. We got a whole lot more to get into, starting with college football after the break. So don't hit that dial. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network. Stay locked. You're listening to Sports Pack right here on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
It's time for Season 2 of the Playbook, and we're talking all things college football, putting together a better sophomore season than Tim Tebow in 2007.
To the listeners and everybody at Wolf Nation, I promise you one thing. You will never see an on-air personality work as hard as I will for Season 2 of the Playbook, and we will make this show better than any college football radio show will ever be for Season 2 of the Playbook.
Listen as we fulfill this promise, live, every Friday at noon.
This season, everything changes. I'm the only one who came back, and honestly, I might regret it.
Josh Allen might just be the best athlete the NFL has ever seen.
Spencer Strider is an elite closer posing as an ace.
D Rose is the most overrated player of all time.
One vet, all new voices, hot takes, wild debates, and zero chill. Season 6 of Sports Out of Pocket debuts this fall, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Ian's freestyle went big. But we're gonna go bigger.
Dang, it's my first season. I feel like a star. I be dropping hot takes. I speak real bizarre. How many views we gonna get? I'd say about 1 million. Out of Pocket Season 6. We got zero chill. Tune in to Season 6 of Sports Out of Pocket. Wednesdays at 6 on Wolf Sports Network.
Welcome to the Boring Sports Show, where we only bring the most boring sports takes.
Who are you? I am Hot Takes Man, and I defend the world from boring sports shows like yours. Another day's work for Hot Takes Man. Citizen, if you want to save yourself from boring sports content, then tune in to Sports Out of Pocket, Wednesdays from 6 to 7 on Wolf Sports Network.
Baby, it's college football time. Give me my theme music. Very interesting college football weekend is coming up.
What we got?
Starting off with a big-time matchup in the fine state of Utah with the 15th ranked 6-0 BYU Cougars.
The Stolen Mormons, baby.
Taking on the 5-1 23rd team in the country, the Utah Utes, Schrader, I like that. The Storm and Mormons. I like that.
Storm and Mormons fighting
Richard,
Joseph
you made a
Smiths.
trip
They
to
got 'em
Utah
all up there.
recently?
This actually
Not the
specifically
one, bro.
BYU or anything?
This is our first
Haven't
time.
talked to any
this
moms
is my
out
first
there?
time talking about a Mormon cougar in quite some time. And, you know, I miss it. They treat you well out there, boy. They treat you well out there. But before we get into all that, Schrader, I want to start with you. You're turning a little red. Does that mean you're going with the Utah Utes in this game? Or do you think BYU can start off 7-0 with a big-time win?
No, I think BYU can start off 7-0 with a big-time win simply because of their quarterback, Bear Bachmeier.
Yeah,
Yes,
Bachmeier.
number 47, Bear Bachmeier.
Yeah, dude, you got a QB wearing number 47. You know something ain't right up in his head. And he is balling out there. This BYU team has fallen under the radar of almost everybody because, yet again, they're just a random Big 12 team that just happens to be in the mix. And the Big 12, as we have said time and time again, eats itself alive. And I think this is going to be a great example of that. I really like Utah. I think Dampier is a great quarterback, but it's just these two teams hate each other. I'm pretty sure somebody was just thrown in prison. A BYU fan was thrown in prison for threats he made towards Utah fans.
That's
fun.
If you got a Mormon going to prison for making threats, these guys hate each other. And I think BYU, their environment in that stadium, much like Utah, those fans get going because there ain't nothing else to do up there besides go to the temple. But, I mean, I think this is going to be a great game. And
Richard knows a couple things to do up in Utah.
I was on Mormon TikTok for about a week and a half, about a month ago, and there are a few more things to do in Utah to go to the temple. Them BYU students, Keyshawn, you ever heard what the BYU students do? You ever heard of soaking? Look it up after the show. Look it up after the show. But,
we've lost it.
We've lost the plot. When you look at this game, two big-time teams in the Big 12, a conference that historically is wide open, but we're starting to see a Texas Tech Red Raiders team really take the step forward to really be the alpha dog in this conference. But these are two teams right here that are really looking to be in that Big 12 championship game when it's all said and done. So, Keyshawn, when you look at these two teams, who do you favor here? The red-hot Mormon Cougars or this Utah Utes team that's trying to show they still got a lot more left in the tank?
Give me the Mormons.
Fighting Joseph Smith.
BYU has been an underrated team for some time now. I mean, based off last season and what they've done this season, I mean, they pretty much looks like they know what they're doing up there. I mean, nothing else to really do. So, I mean, I hope that their football team is very good.
We got to stop saying it. We got to.
Utah? Like, really?
I don't want to.
Utah. It's football or nothing. So, if anything's going to be good in Utah, it better be BYU. It better be BYU.
I don't want to keep cutting y'all off. But we can't keep saying there's nothing else to do in Utah. When I've seen TikTok after TikTok explaining how many different things there are to do on BYU's campus, then go to worship nights.
Man,
they do a little bit more.
Hey, who else we got this weekend?
Should we just get off this game?
Just end it.
Okay, hold on. Big time game in the SEC. As we have the 11th ranked Tennessee Volunteers going into Bryant-Denny Stadium to play the 6th ranked team in the country, the Alabama Crimson Tide on Saban Field. What they do in Alabama is a lot worse than what they do in Utah. Let me tell you that much.
Man.
It's a whole lot worse. You get those the hills have eyes kids out there in Alabama. It's a lot of
bro. John is dying.
You gotta stop. But look, there are a lot. Let's be real here. There are a lot of, say, traditionalists in Alabama. Especially as you get deeper into it towards that Mississippi line.
That's what you call it.
You start to see a lot of people that look very similar. Man, I saw you 2 exits down. No, that was my cousin. I'm sure it was. Look, I'm sure it was. But anyway, John. Not John. He needs to
Not me, Bryce. I'm okay.
Schrader.
Yeah.
When we're looking at this matchup, two teams in the SEC, both with one loss. Alabama's being out of conference. We're starting to see Alabama take the strides in the right direction, look like they might be the alpha dog in this conference, right up there with a team like Texas A&M.
Yeah.
But Tennessee still has a lot to prove because outside of that Georgia loss, all their conference wins have been very close, barely scraping by. So who do you like in this game? Do you think the Tennessee Volunteers can get this done and kind of pull up the upset this weekend?
I think this is a really interesting game because of the way that this rivalry has played out in the last few years. We've seen, 17, 18 straight years or something crazy like that Bama beat Tennessee. But this Tennessee team is a lot better than I personally thought they were going to be. I think I didn't think they were going to win the trade. I thought Joey was going to be significantly worse than Nico was. But Joey's been playing really good ball. But this Alabama team, I don't know how my Seminoles beat them. Or
one-hit wonders is the way to put it.
I think we forgot that we had more teams to play after, but
it was a one-game season.
It really was, but it was a great win. I loved it, had a great time. But this Alabama team has played like one of, if not the best teams in college football. I personally think if that Florida State game did not happen, they'd have a number 1 next to their name.
Yeah.
They have played out of their minds. They escaped from Mizzou, but they really had that game just about the entire time. I think that Tennessee is going to walk into Bryant-Denny, maybe give them a run for their money, but I think that Alabama is going to be smoking that cigar in the locker room.
So, John, when you look at this matchup, like you said, Alabama's been surging, just like Schrader just explained.
Yeah.
But this Tennessee offense has been red hot. Joey Aguilar's had a really good season up until this point, but that defense looks questionable. Last week, giving up 31 points to Arkansas.
Oof.
2 weeks ago, giving up 34 points in a 41-34 overtime win against Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think they have enough firepower to outgun this very talented Alabama attack?
You've seen what Alabama's done all season because for Tennessee, you're going to be spreading your receivers. You always do. But they also have the run game, and that's the one thing that's been concerning for Alabama's defense right there. It's the run game. They've gotten better about playing against the run, but if they can really hit the run game there, another thing that we were talking about last week, you hit the run game, you establish it, it's going to help you a long way, and you also have your receivers. You're slinging the ball down there, but honestly, the way I see it, I think Alabama's the one that gets this done because just the way they move the ball downfield, Ty Simpson and his arm with his receivers, it is insane how he incorporates all of his receivers in there. He can just dot them up. You really... That's what you're looking for in this. Where are they going to throw it to, not where they're going to run it to, because that's the one thing they do lack. They lack a run game, and their best running back is still questionable right now. But I still think Alabama and Ty Simpson can get this done.
Keyshawn,
I'm gonna have to agree, but honestly, it's not going to be an easy one for Alabama.
No,
definitely not. I can see Tennessee if they do come up with the upset, it would not technically be an upset for me
with
personally.
The way this rivalry goes, yeah, I could see it happening.
Right. But I think what's the likelihood of it happening? I think it's honestly a 70% chance it could happen. With Tennessee, they have to establish the offense. Honestly, they're not going to have enough. They don't have enough defense to stop Alabama. So, like you said, they just have to have enough offensive firepower to go shot for shot with them. So, honestly, with this game, it's about who scores the most points because I don't think neither defense can slow the other. Well, they can slow them down, but they definitely cannot stop them. So, with this one, it's just a shootout game. Who could score more? And honestly, I got Alabama outscoring Tennessee.
You know what? I agree with you 100%. This is going to be an outright shootout. It's going to be a very entertaining game. That's why I'm glad it's in the late window, 7:30. Everybody sit down and watch what should be a very exciting college football game. Like you said, John, Alabama's run game does concern me some.
Mm-hmm.
What concerns me more is the fact that in all 3 of their big-time wins over the past 3 weeks, on the road against Georgia, home versus Vandy, on the road against Missouri, Alabama has left the door open at the end of the game. They have given these teams opportunities to get back in it, retake the lead, have a game-winning drive, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Georgia had plenty of chances to get it done, but they weren't able to do it. But with this Tennessee team, I really feel like they have the firepower to expose the deficiencies Alabama has shown over these past few weeks. I'm not just going against the grain here because everybody else at the table picked Alabama. It's normally part of it, but when I look at this game, I don't think Alabama gets out of the SEC slate unscathed. I think they're going to be in it at the very end of the picture and probably play in the SEC title game. But I do think they have a conference loss somewhere in this schedule, and I don't think it's against South Carolina. I don't think it'll be against LSU. I don't think it'll be against Oklahoma. I darn sure don't think it's going to be against Auburn. So I feel like if they're going to slip up, it's going to be right here against this Tennessee Volunteers team that's trying to show everybody not to write them off just yet after that loss to Georgia. I'm going with Tennessee here. I think it's going to be an outstanding game. Tennessee finds a way to get it done in the fourth quarter or in an overtime matchup. That would be incredible as well. I'm going with the Vols here in this big-time matchup in the SEC. Now, another big-time matchup in the SEC. Top 10 game here. The 5th-ranked Ole Miss Rebels going on the road to the Classic City, Athens, Georgia, to take on the 9th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. ESPN Analytics is giving Georgia a 69% chance to win this game, but I would not write off the Rebels just yet. because behind quarterback Trinidad Chambliss, they have been nothing short of incredible over the past few weeks. A lot of people are trying to diss them because of a very close game to Wazoo last weekend where they just won 24-21 against a pretty mediocre Washington State team. But Schrader, I think that was just a look-ahead spot for Ole Miss.
I 100% agree with you. I think that this game is going to be outstanding, and I'm really interested because Georgia, playing in the SEC, as has Ole Miss, you're getting to the point of the season where you're going to take a right hook. And I think that Bama game was a big punch in the mouth, but I'm really interested to see how they play against Ole Miss because Georgia escaped Jordan Hare with a little bit of help, but, I mean, they did earn that win. But this Ole Miss team, it was definitely a look-ahead game against Washington State. It's an easy look-ahead game. Washington State's coming out of the Pac-2. They really haven't played anybody. They're not the greatest. I really like Ole Miss in this game because Ole Miss has an outstanding defense. They've only allowed more than 25 points once this season, and Georgia's offense is interesting. If Ole Miss can limit the screens, like Bobo's called plays really well, but if Ole Miss can limit the screens, stop that, force Georgia to throw the ball downfield, I think Ole Miss has a great shot to win this game, but it is in Athens, and there's one thing Georgia doesn't do that often in Athens, and that's lose.
Yeah, and there's another thing. They already lost at home once this season, but they also lost to the same Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss Rebels last season as well. Keyshawn, do you really think the Bulldogs will lose 2 games at home in Athens?
I don't think it happened, me personally. I mean, it could, but I just don't think it will. I mean, Georgia, Ole Miss, they're coming in hot, 6-0, ranked 5th or 4th. Fifth, probably the highest they've been in a few seasons. But, I mean, honestly, when you look at the remainder of their season, this is not a game that they can afford to lose. I mean, after this game, they have Oklahoma, they have South Carolina, and then later on at the end of the season, they have a Mississippi State team who's played fairly decent.
Sneaky ball games.
Yeah, So, I mean, if they plan on making a push, I mean, if it is a game that they're going to lose, it better be this one. I just hope it's not this. So I don't think it will be. So for Trinidad Chambliss, he's just going to have to protect the ball. He's going to have to use his legs. Against Georgia, Gunnar Stockton, he's going to have to do the same thing. Use his legs, move around the pocket because that defense is good. That O-line just going to have to be better. So for this one, it's a tough one. It's really a toss-up for me. I don't really know who's going to win this one. I'm a Georgia boy, so I'm going to have to go with Georgia ultimately. Right. So
I don't know if I actually said who I thought was going to win, but I'm going to go hotty-totty here. I think Ole Miss.
No, you did. You said it. You said it. Go ahead, John. I know you're a Georgia boy at heart as well, John, but when you look at this Georgia team, there are flaws. And running quarterbacks have been one of Kirby Smart's defense's Achilles' heels over the past few years. What do these dogs need to do to beat this very talented Ole Miss team?
I mean, you got to come out guns blazing, but the defense, to me especially, I mean, you saw it last week. The first half, we were not playing a good defensive ball game at all. I was yelling at Glenn Schumann through the TV, and heck, I don't think he could hear me, but that's simple as that.
Hot take.
Yeah, hot take. But yet he tightened it down in the second half. We just can't be slow to start the game. We have to play a 4-quarter game. We're not going to just have this happen in the first half and come be a second half team, which has kind of been the way this season has gone. And as great as that is, in the long run, that's not going to win you games. You got to play your 4-quarter game. You're not going to come in there and lay down your jersey and just say we won the game. So really, I'm looking for a fiery start. You got the environment you want. You're at home. It's a 3:30 game. Heck, you might hear that again all game long. But you have the stadium striped in some way. One being red, one being white in the middle, one being black on the other side. You have everything you want. It's your opportunity. You got to make sure you go take it, and we have to explode out of the gate. Because other than that, if we have a slow start, it's going to be a long, long night, just like the halftime was for Georgia-Auburn last week.
It's going to be a fun game, man. I'm very excited to see it. Straight, I don't need you to get your mind out of the gutter. But it's going to be a very fun game, nonetheless. Very, very talented Ole Miss team. Trinidad Chambliss, one of the better quarterbacks in the country. I think he's going to show a lot of people that this weekend. They have a lot of firepower, ways to expose this Georgia defense. Georgia on offense needs to establish the run and play their brand of ball. They cannot afford to start slow because, like Schrader just alluded to, this Ole Miss defense is legit. I'd argue maybe even a little better than they were last year. Not as well against the run, but their pass defense is for real. You don't want to get behind because it's going to be hard to catch up, especially with a Georgia offense whose passing attack is already a little shaky. You have the talent, but the play calling and quarterback play isn't always up to par. I'm going to roll with Georgia here. I don't see Kirby Smart losing to Lane Kiffin 2 years in a row, but I would not be surprised. This is a very close game into the fourth quarter, and it also wouldn't shock me if Ole Miss found a way to get it done too. I feel like we might have been a year early on Ole Miss. A lot of us, myself included, thought last year was going to be their year. It very well may be this year, led by quarterback Trinidad Chambliss. Now, we'll get back to some football a little later in the show. We got more sports to talk about. Man, I keep having to clear my throat. I don't know what's going on. Need a sip of water, but we can't drink in the studios. Drink responsibly, everybody. I would be drinking water to clear my throat. But nonetheless, I'm just going to thug it out to the next ad break. We got some playoff baseball going on right now as we speak. With the Brewers and the Dodgers entering the bottom of the first, the Dodgers are currently up 1-0 against the Brewers right now. Schrader, I want to start off with you. What are some things you've noticed from this very exciting Brewers and Dodgers series so far?
It's been very Dodgers heavy. I mean, the
Yeah.
Dodgers have looked like they have really taken that postseason form that they took last year. They've absolutely dominated the Brewers in this series, and it looks like, I mean, right now they're up 1-0. They got runners in scoring position. I think that the Dodgers they're playing out of their minds right now, and the Brewers are really struggling. The Brewers have been a feel-good story all season long. It's been great to watch a team that everybody kind of counted out at the start of the season become the best team in the MLB. But I think they've met their match, and I think the Dodgers are doing exactly what everybody expected them to do going into the postseason.
John?
I mean, kind of just the same thing. I'm a little surprised because they were playing great and they were playing tough, but you're down 2-0. It's not what you wanted to have happen. You've already switched pitchers in this game, so it's going to be probably another rough night for the Brewers fans.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. At the way it's looking like now, I mean, it's kind of heading that way. I mean, for the Dodgers, what's being shown is that paying your players matters so much. I mean, when you dump your money into free agency and then re-signing these big names, you're going to get a 2-0 start in the postseason. It's bound to happen. It better happen if you dump that much money into your players. So, I mean, honestly, the Dodgers being up 2-0 and even being up 1-0 now on the scoreboard now isn't really a surprise for me.
Yeah, you're right. When you invest that much money into your program and your players, you should be beating the Milwaukee Brewers or the LA Dodgers. You're putting $48 billion into your roster. You ought to win a couple games.
Right.
I mean, let's just be real here. We expect the Dodgers to be doing these kind of things. I would love to see the Brewers find a way to win this series. But as of right now, it's looking like you said, Schrader, Dodgers heavy. Now, John, this other series, the Seattle Mariners are currently leading at 2-1 against the Toronto Blue Jays. What do the Blue Jays need to do to tie this series up at 2?
I would just say they got to start. They got to have their bats got to be hot when the game starts. Simple as that. I mean, your pitching matchup is Luis Castillo and Max Scherzer, so it's going to be kind of a lopsided game to me. Because the one thing that really surprised me is when the Mariners are playing. I mean, they use all of their pitchers in that one game against the why am I just blanking on it? Who they played? That they went Game 5 to just recently. Again.
Oh, when they went 15 innings.
Yes.
I'm blanking too, and
yeah.
I don't like it. The
Tigers. Yes.
Tigers.
The one thing is, I thought the Blue Jays were going to have this, like, hey, they've used starting pitchers, 40 pitch maximum. They're going to be dog tired, but they're up 2-1. Their team is playing great. Everyone's moving around. So for the Blue Jays, you got to go back to that energy you did when you start out and you're beating the Yankees 12-1. You got to harness that energy again. You really got to come in and make sure that you guys are really, really playing well. And just, make sure the bats are hot. That's really the main thing. Bats are hot. You have the guys who can slug it. So just make sure you're doing what you need to do.
Yeah, this series is going to be a lot more interesting than the one we talked about before, because these are two very comparable teams. But what the Blue Jays are going to have to do to beat the Mariners is exactly what they did yesterday, and that's hit the ball far. Hit the ball out of the park.
They have people who can do it.
But the reason that they are doing that is because they are taking advantage of the mistakes that the pitchers are making. They're not looking to hit the long ball, but when the opportunity presents itself, they take it. They take advantage of what the pitcher is giving them. But then you look at this Mariners team, and you could say you don't want them to start off too fast, but that's exactly what happened in the last game. The Mariners got off to a quick 2-0 lead, and then just like that, the Blue Jays hit 5 home runs and ran away with the game. So this one's it's really difficult to determine what's going to happen because anything can happen. This is one of those series that it could go either way. I couldn't tell you what's going to happen, but I can tell you it's going to be really exciting. So watch this darn series.
All right. For me, for the Blue Jays, for them, like you say, you just got to get out to a hot start. I mean, hit the ball when you need to. don't try to force it. Don't try to, force too many pitches. Don't try to overswing yourself. Hit the correct balls when they need to be hit. Hit them deep when they need to be hit as well. Outfielders got to be on top as well for the Mariners. You got to be prepared for these long shots because they're coming. They're coming hot, and I'm expecting them to come early in the innings too. So for the Mariners, the defense has got to be on point, and then for the Blue Jays, just got to swing the back hot.
Quick score update. The Brewers got out of that first inning with only giving up 1 run to the L.A. Dodgers. Like Schrader said, they had 2 runners in scoring position but found a way to get out of it. And the Mariners and Blue Jays kick off at 8:33 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. Going to be a very interesting game to watch. One last thing to touch on before we end off this segment. Indiana head coach Curt Cignetti, after his very impressive 30-20 win against the Oregon Ducks, just signed off on an 8-year contract extension worth $93 million, showing everyone that he ain't going nowhere and is not leaving Indiana for a new job in Happy Valley. Schrader, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is really interesting, and this is what we saw after Saban retired. When Saban retired, all these names flooded for Alabama's job. You saw Norvell, you saw Dan Lanning, you saw Lane Kiffin. And what did all 3 of those guys do? They signed extensions. So what you're going to see moving forward this year is a lot of guys who are in contention for this Penn State job say, you know what? I like where I'm at. I'm building a program. I want it to be my own. So I'm going to stay here, but I'm going to use this as a leverage to get a little more cash and job security, which is really interesting because it shows that we could be somewhat reaching the end of, or at least escaping that era of coaches just leaving for the next big job. I think a lot of coaches are getting really, really content with where they are, and they want to build programs. And that's when you see these big job openings. They use that as leverage to stay where they are, and that's what you saw Curt do.
Now, quick thoughts from you 3. When we're looking at this Penn State job, it's obvious Curt Cignetti will not be taking it. Who do y'all think could be next up for this Penn State job?
For me, honestly, I'm gonna have to go with Brian Hartline. For Penn State, when you look at what's been their biggest stump in the past few years, it's been the offense. You can't really name a good receiver who's came out of Penn State in a while.
True.
Yeah, Drew Aller.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, Drew Aller's going to need some help, or he did need help offensively, and now they need even more help because now they're without Drew Aller. They don't really have a good receiver one. Kyron Hudson, he's doing all he could do, but he's no big name. So what other good name to look out for other than Brian Hartline, who's produced these big name receivers, these first round guys who, what they look at OSU as the wide receiver U of college football. So, for me, I'm going to have to say Brian Hartline's a good guy.
That's interesting. That's one I haven't heard yet. And if you didn't know, Brian Hartline is the offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach at Ohio State University. John?
I said Buster Faulkner the other day, but I really need time to go back and see who the actual candidates are, to really deep dive this. So I can't give you an exact answer. I know they talked about Iowa State. What?
I think it's a pretty obvious answer. I think it's Matt Rule. And I think Matt Rule, he's a guy that has been a Penn State fan his entire life. He's very open about that. He graduated from Penn State. And every time he's asked about this position, he doesn't say that he's not going to take it. He just says he's not going to take it now. He said he's not going to let himself be distracted by this job. But this is the definition of a dream job. And I think Matt Rule next season will be wearing navy and white. And I think he's going to be in college.
You know what they say, when your alma mater calls, you pick up the phone. I would not be surprised to see Matt Rule take that job. But if he wasn't to, I think another name to watch out for is Fran Brown, current head coach at Syracuse. He's built up a very strong culture there. He's a very good recruiter, very hard-nosed head coach, does things the way he wants them done, and I think he does a darn good job doing it. So there's a few names to look out for as this Penn State job search continues, but I'm of the belief that whatever move they make will not be made until the end of the season, and we won't know until football is done being played all around. Now, if you enjoy what we do here at Wolf Sports Network, show us some support by visiting our merch store. Go to our website at wolfsportsnetwork.com, hit the About button, and then hit Merch Store, and check out all the things we have to offer, from sweatpants, hoodies, hats, beanies. We've got some socks. I don't think we have drawers in there yet, but if you want some, DM us on Instagram at Wolf Sports Network, and we'll get you, and Grandma, we'll get you some Wolf Sports Network bloomers if that's what you really want. So let us know. Show us some support. We really appreciate all you all do for us, listening to us, supporting us. If you want to do a little bit more, feel free to visit our merch store and check us out. Now, when we get back, we're diving into this crazy NFL season and making our Thursday night football game picks. So don't go anywhere. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network.
You are listening to Sports Pack Mondays and Thursdays from 6 to 7.
Welcome aboard to Sports Out of Pocket Airlines, your nonstop flight to the highs and lows of the sports world. This is your Captain Jackson Vole speaking, and this is Flight Path, where we chart every climb and dive, teams taking off to championship skies, and players hitting unexpected turbulence. Buckle up, sports fans, and fasten those seatbelts, because when the whistle blows, we're cleared for takeoff. Listen to Sports Out of Pocket every Wednesday at 6, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Sports Out of Pocket has a brand new showtime. Yeah. But what time is it at? I don't know. It's not 5 to 6. Uh-huh. It's not 7 to 8. Uh-huh. It's 6-7. Wolf Sports Network. It ain't just a game. It's everything. This is where the best separate themselves from the rest. But to be the best, you gotta read the best. And the best is the playbook. Let's go. Yeah, go. Tune into the playbook, Fridays at noon on Wolf Sports Network. Hello? Can anybody hear me? I can't see anything. It's like a snowstorm out here.
JT, I need your help.
What? Who goes there?
I'm the ghost of Out of Pocket Past,
Nah, bro. I don't mess with ghosts.
but I need a sports fan that has zero chill.
Well, now that you mention that, this is gonna be Out of Pocket. Tune in to Season 6 of Sports Out of Pocket, Zero Chill. Wednesdays at 6 on Wolf Sports Network.
In the NFL, only one thing matters: chasing a dynasty. We're going to start off this NFL segment a little bit different because, John, don't we have somebody calling into the show right now? Yep, we had him on hold, so let's go ahead and answer. Sports Pack, this is Richard speaking.
Hey, guys, love the show. My name's Rich. I'm calling from East Cobb. How you doing?
Doing great,
Pretty
man.
good.
Great.
I just want to wish you guys success. I want to talk about Falcons. Big win, huh? Remarkable. I absolutely had no hope at all. Boy, was I wrong. It just goes to show you that you never bet on the Falcons and you never bet against them. I think with Penix, Tyler, and Bijan, we might just have the three-headed beast we've always wanted. My fingers are crossed. I want to thank you guys for picking up the phone, and I'll just hang up and listen.
I appreciate you, Rich, for picking up the phone and showing us some love.
But the Falcons hate.
No thanks.
All right, so let me look. I do know him. He's been a long time Falcons fan. He's been through a lot of heartbreak. Same with the Braves fan. He's been a long time Braves fan. So I get what he's saying.
See, I've been a lifelong Falcons fan too. But one thing about us, John, we're foolishly patient.
I just know what he's saying. I'm not saying that I'm hating on the Falcons.
Yeah,
One thing about those fans, they're very delusional. No matter how many losses they take, they still believe they can win every
All
game.
right, now calm down because we can win every game. We very well can. We proved it this past Monday night.
Didn't prove it against the Braves.
Taking out the Buffalo Bills. That game doesn't matter.
He's doing it for you.
At some point, y'all are going to stop bringing that up. Like,
I
for
didn't say
example,
nothing.
when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they lost to a bad Seattle Seahawks team. Way back. I'm talking about like when Nick Foles did it. People don't always bring up that game. This Falcons team is surging. The Week 3 losses don't matter anymore. What they're doing right now matters. They have the number 1 total defense in all of football. And like Rich just said, this combination of Drake London and Bijan Robinson might be one of the better duos in all of football.
Brutal.
John?
Oh, sorry. It's like he also alluded to a three-headed monster. You see what we're able to do with that. I think the one thing I'm seeing is this coaching change. It worked. It simply worked. I know we might need a faster receiver. We could have been up 30-plus points at some point. But, the defense playing well. I'm with it. I love it, all right? We beat the Bills. I was dang happy. You were sitting next to me. We were going crazy. So, yeah.
Pause. This Sunday night, though, the Falcons have another big-time test because that Bills win was great. But we're going up against a very tricky 49ers team on the road in San Francisco.
A weird 49ers team.
That's not going to be an easy game. A 49ers team that just beat the LA Rams, one of the better teams in the NFC, in another primetime Thursday night football game. So, Strader, when you look at this, do you think the Falcons can sustain the play that we saw against Buffalo, or do you think it's going to be more of a week-to-week thing with this Dirty Birds team?
I'm taking it week to week with the Falcons right now just because that's kind of been the story of the season. But they do seem to be coming into that form where I think what you saw on Monday is a lot of what you're going to see the rest of the season. They really impressed me, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Bijan played out of his mind. Penix is still a work in progress, but he is doing enough. And, hey, if my quarterback's doing enough, that's great. That's fine.
Right. It seems like he's getting more comfortable with every snap.
Exactly. I think he was really uncomfortable to start the season because he really didn't have much experience going into the season. But this 49ers team, like you said, is really tricky. Mac Jones all of a sudden is good. McCaffrey is playing great. I mean, it's a really interesting team, but they did lose Fred Warner.
They did.
Fred Warner is out for the season, and he is not just their leading tackler, but he is their leader.
Yep,
he is the San Francisco 49ers. He's been the cornerstone of that organization for a while.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this game plays out. And I think the Falcons are going to go in there, and I think they're going to shock a lot of people. Sunday Night Football, I'm really impressed with how they played against the Bills, and y'all are going to yell at me if I don't pick them. So,
and you know what? I appreciate you for doing that. Like you said, it's going to be a slugfest. I think it's going to be a defensive showdown. Despite not the 49ers not having Fred Warner or Nick Bosa, they still have a lot of complementary pieces. I do think the Falcons are a few steps away. They need a few more playmakers at the wide receiver position. Maybe go after one in this year's draft class. Got a few that said they'd be interested in playing for the Atlanta Falcons out there in Miami, so I'm very happy to see that. Guy C.J. Daniels said he wanted to play with Michael Penix in the Falcons. That would be a great addition to go along with Drake London. But like you said, you got to take it week by week with the Falcons this year and really with every team in the NFL because we really don't know what to make of all these different teams. You have the Bears surging at certain points against the Commanders last weekend. The Jaguars looked great at one point, and then they had a tricky loss last week against Seattle. I mean, outside of teams like, the most consistent team in the league this year so far has been Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Dude.
Outside of Tampa Bay, we really just don't know.
Baker's getting the people going.
Exactly. And then especially looking at the AFC, it's really a crapshoot. Early in the season, it looked like the Kansas City Chiefs would be on the downward spiral. But last week, they had one of the better wins of any team in the NFL by taking down the Detroit Lions in dominant fashion. That game was really never in doubt after the second quarter. So you guys want to open it up here. When we look at the Kansas City Chiefs, do you think they are still the favorites to win the AFC, or will another team dethrone them as of right now?
I think they are the favorite. They're them as well as the Bills. Those two teams are honestly the top two teams who are to beat in the entire conference. I mean, like we said earlier, this conference is wide open. I mean, honestly, it's play it out unexpectedly. I mean, you have teams like the New England Patriots, the Colts, even with Daniel Jones. I mean, they're at the top of their divisions, and you have teams like the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs who are at the bottom. So, I mean, like, you're right, it's wide open. I mean, the unexpected teams that suddenly surged, we weren't expecting at first, they're making a point now. And the teams that we thought were good going into the season, they're not. So, I mean, like, they're wide open. So, I mean, this is really anybody's conference to win, honestly. I mean,
it is.
Yeah, I mean, we see the Chiefs can be dethroned. They've lost 3 games so far already.
Yep.
So, I mean, the Bills just lost 2 in a row. So, I mean, it is wide open. It's anybody's to beat. But, I mean, the Chiefs is still the Chiefs. Pat Mahomes is still Pat Mahomes. Josh Allen.
Let's say Rashee Rice returns for the Chiefs as well.
So they're going to get even more dangerous than what they already are, honestly. So, I mean, Chiefs and Bills are honestly the 2 teams to beat in the AFC.
Schrader?
Yeah, I think, like Keyshawn said, it's wide open. There are so many teams. I mean, we didn't even mention the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, as we talked about on Monday, they might just be running away with that division. They're quietly just handling business week in and week out. The Chiefs, I think the Chiefs are always going to be in the conversation because of their name, right? They've been basically a dynasty. They've been the closest thing we've had to one of those since Tom Brady was up in New England. They've played out of their minds. They've become the team that everybody wants to beat. But that Colts team, I mean, they're really good.
Dangerous.
They're dangerous. I mean, this conference really is wide open, and I don't know who the front runner is right now. I don't even know if there is a front runner. I think there's just a bunch of guys running to the line right now.
Exactly. But when you look at this Chiefs team, like John just alluded to, it's looking like they're becoming the favorites once again. Not that anybody ever doubted Kansas City, but they're getting healthier and healthier every single week. The run game is beginning to come around. Pat Mahomes is able to sit in the pocket more. The receiver room is getting better, especially with the addition of Rashee Rice, who we saw last season was starting to look like one of the better receivers in all of the NFL. You could argue argue he was turning into a top 10 receiver in all of football.
And fantasy.
And fantasy football.
I
He's
can't
back on
wait.
my team as well. So when you add him into this offense that already seems to be surging, you give Pat Mahomes a number 1 receiver that can win against pretty much any corner in football. It's getting scary, John.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you really think about it with the addition of this, and they're figuring out their offense. They're all before the last 2 weeks they've been throwing Xavier Worthy. They've really worked him in well. I want to say it's the Chiefs because don't count them out, but I like what New England's got. I like what the Colts are doing. I was very surprised by the Colts this year. Everyone counted them out after, AR was having all his problems and Daniel Jones came in and took it over. I counted them out. You may not have.
Yeah, me and Riley were having conversations preseason. I picked them to win the AFC South.
I remember you talking about
he's
that.
a Colts fan and called me crazy.
Yeah.
I thought I was losing my standing a little.
You told me at the start of the season Danny Dimes would be playing the way he's playing. I would have
I
called
was
you
saying,
stupid.
I was nervous to say it out loud. I only said it to Riley because he was a Colts fan. I was a little, I was a little shy about it, but he's balling. And so when you look at this Colts team, they have so much firepower, and they really haven't had to show it yet. The game against the Rams was the closest game they really played against. And they were really just stupid errors by A.D. Mitchell that cost him that game.
Yeah.
Dropping the ball at the 1 yard line, a holding that took away a touchdown, a costly holding call that took away one of the Jonathan Taylor's 50-yard rushes. They would have won that game against the Rams by 2 scores. They just have so much firepower that they haven't had to tap into yet. But Danny Dimes has been balling. Jonathan Taylor is the NFL's leading rusher right now with 603 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns through just as many games. Tyler Warren's looking like one of the better tight ends in all of football. And like I said, their receiver room really hasn't even had to take those big strides yet. Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, A.D. Mitchell, still a very good wide receiver. They have monsters on this team, you guys, and I think as we get into the playoffs, we're going to see this Colts team really scare some people. Their defense struggles at times, but they have an offense that can score in any way against just about anybody.
Yeah, you look at this Colts team, and what you're going to see is I believe the NFL equivalent to this Brewers team we talked about earlier. I think they came out of nowhere.
I like that.
They almost play small ball, and they're one of the best teams in the NFL.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you get into the postseason, teams as inexperienced in the postseason as this one's, they might get to the divisional, or they might be like the Commanders last year where they get to that NFC championship, and then they probably fall. But I do feel that this Colts team is setting itself up for future success really, really well. I think this might not be their year. Now, you can use this as a sound clip later when it is their year.
Right.
But I think that they will fall in the playoffs, but I think they're going to be one of the most exciting teams to watch throughout the rest of this regular season and maybe the first couple of games of the playoffs.
I think you are 100% correct, and that's the perfect way to wrap up how up in the air the AFC is right now. 'Cause like you said, the Colts might be a divisional round exit, or they might make it all the way to the AFC Championship game. We just don't know. And 2 of these teams in the same division are in action tonight, with the Pittsburgh Steelers currently sitting at 4-1, the number 1 team in the AFC North, going on the road to Cincinnati to take on the 2-4 Cincinnati Bengals, who are trying to keep their name in the hat for best team in the AFC towards the end of the season. They need to win at least 9 games to be in playoff contention at the end, because by the time December comes around, Joe Burrow is slated to return to this team. And if they can sit around that 8-9 win range right around that time, Joe Burrow could potentially try to get them over the hump. And it really starts tonight, this home game against their division rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, before we make our game picks, John, remind the people of our policy. Sports Pack and Wolf Sports Network are not liable for any financial losses that may occur due to using our picks outside of the show. These are just our opinions. Don't blame us. Blame the players. Now that we've covered all our bases, John, I do want to start with you.
Yes.
When you look at this matchup, do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers continue to roll, or do you think the Joe Flacco-led Cincinnati Bengals can pull a rabbit out of a hat here against Mike Tomlin and this sturdy Pittsburgh Steelers defense?
Look, the way you look at this game, you think the Steelers would win with the way this is. But as my professor, Dr. Andrew Will, says, he thinks this is a trap game tonight. Simple as that. He thinks that because especially he said when Joe Flacco was on the Colts, they absolutely killed the Pittsburgh Steelers. And there's something about Joe Flacco going against the Steelers. It seems like he has a good run of success against them.
Yeah, in his 30 years in Baltimore, he whooped up on the Steelers a good bit.
I'm about to say 30 years in Baltimore, yeah.
He was there for a minute,
feels
man.
like it.
And I can remember.
But like I kind of want to pick Cincinnati in a way, but they also have Hendrickson tonight. He's been ruled out. So I'm going to take the safe option and go with Pittsburgh because I just think they got more firepower, and the Bengals defense is a little questionable to me. And without having your elite pass rusher as well to create pressure, then who's going to step up? I can't tell you right now.
Y'all think this could be a trap game for Pittsburgh?
Definitely, I think it can be a trap game because this is not going to be an easy game for the Steelers. This is an interdivision rivalry game. It always goes down to the wire. It's definitely going to go down to the wire tonight because it's a primetime game on Thursday. It's going to be really dramatic because we know the offensive defensive matchup is going to be Jalen Ramsey versus Jamar Chase. Who's going to win that matchup? How's that going to go?
I mean, great matchup.
Yeah, honestly, and then I think that the play out of that game would depend on that. Like, how often can you get Jamar Chase the ball? How often can you give T. Higgins the ball? What can Joe Flacco do? And honestly, I think Joe Flacco still has more left in the tank. Honestly, I mean, despite him being 1,400 years old,
I mean,
he can still
throw one more prime game in him. Yeah, I see it, but I don't know.
Man, he still got more left in him. So for this one,
does he have enough left in the tank to take down Pittsburgh though?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's tough. I don't really know who to pick. For the safe option, I'm gonna go with the Steelers. For the safe option, I'm gonna go with the Steelers. They're the better team. They have the better record. So, yeah, safe option, I'm going to go with the Steelers, but, I mean, it could go either way for me.
I got to start this off by saying I'm currently on, like, a generational run of being wrong with these picks. I mean, I went 0 for 2
You're 0 for 2
on Monday.
Yeah.
I've probably picked 2 teams in college football and the NFL that have actually won. But I look at this game, and, yes, it's great trap game material. But this Steelers team has been doing what the Steelers are known to do, and that's just take care of business. And this Bengals team has been a dumpster fire. And I know that,
no, I agree with that.
You could look at this and say, well, they got Joe Flacco now.
Whoa.
But, I mean, this is the icy hot bowl. I mean, this is Joe Flacco. I mean,
the battle of the olds, man.
I don't know what the combined age of these quarterbacks is, but it's up there. It's
104.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's
They're
something
about 40
wild.
apiece.
I just don't think Joe Flacco. He might have one more legacy game left in him.
This might be tonight.
But I
400
don't
yards,
think
5
it's tonight.
touchdowns.
I think the Steelers win this one convincingly. Maybe close in the first half, but I think the Steelers win this one convincingly.
What's that up, partner?
You know I got to do it, right?
Do it, Richard.
Do it.
I watched the game last week, the Cincinnati Bengals on the road in Green Bay taking on the Packers. The scoreboard looks ugly. 27-18 win for the Packers. But one thing I noticed was all 18 of Cincinnati's points came late in the second half. 7 quick points at the end of the third quarter, 11 ugly points at the end throughout the fourth. But nonetheless, they got it together after a little bit of time passed. Joe Flacco has now had 2 complete weeks to kind of more so understand the Cincinnati Bengals offense. I think it's a big-time game for them. They know it's a must-win game. We saw him work that connection with Jamar Chase a little bit. He threw 45 passes against the Green Bay Packers last week with barely knowing the playbook. He got there about, 3-4 days before game time? I believe in miracles. And ladies and gentlemen, I have a dream that the Cincinnati Bengals will win this game at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Against your own Aaron Rodgers.
I love Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers.
Against your own Aaron Rodgers.
But I got to go against the grain here. I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals. It's not going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be very pretty because they're playing against
AFC North football,
hard-nosed AFC North defense led by Mike Tomlin with Jalen Ramsey shadowing Jamar Chase. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. But I'm going with the upset here. Let's make it a little fun. I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight. Now, that's all the time we have for Sports Pack. It's been a fun show. I want to give one more thanks to our sponsors over at Dine West, our Drink Responsibly campaign, and our book drive. Like I said, if you're going to show some support, subscribe to us on YouTube at Wolf Sports Network. You can listen to all our Wolf Sports Network programming from our web. You can stream all our programming on our website, wolfsportsnetwork.com, or through the Odyssey app. We'll be right back here on Monday, same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you all for tuning in to Sports Back. For John Howley, Jackson Schrader, and Keyshawn Ward, I'm Richard Reed. Have a great night, and go Wolves.